Welcome to Equity.Guru's Investor Roundtable. And it's fitting that right now, as we start this episode, I am starving and I could actually use some ginger beef. That's what we're talking about. Someone, and I don't know who that someone was. It might have been Chris, who's upstairs in the penthouse. It might have been Vishal, or it might have been TK over there. Threw a dart at a dartboard and hit the name ginger beef.
Ginger beef.
Enjoy traditional Chinese cuisine with a modern twist in Calgary. And it is publicly traded on the TSX GB.V. What the hell are we doing, Vishal?
All right, Rob. So first of all, gingerbeef.com, it's their site for their restaurants in Calgary. You can see the locations here. Again, they don't really make it clear that they're publicly traded. And then Galen found this site, gingerbeefchoice.com, a bit older, but there we go. We are known, they let us know that they are listed on the TSX Venture, and they are custom food manufacturing, specializing in, Chinese, dim sum, Japanese, Thai, Asian foods, Chinese foods based in Calgary. And they also market, manufacture, and distribute an extensive product line of frozen and ready-to-eat meals. Take a look at some of the locations, apparently, where you can buy their meals. I haven't done it. I'm not sure if you guys have seen their stuff, but
they apparently have a food truck. I've seen that they have a Facebook page with one post on it, and it has a food truck.
Food truck, there we go.
We should have a contest right off the top here, though. And if anybody can identify the quote unquote CEO, which that title might not exist at Ginger Beef, can identify whatever that word is.
How did this happen? What is the origin story here? Someone somewhere was like, what we should do? From? We're selling a shit ton of ginger beef right now. We should go public.
Yeah.
Like, obviously that's the next step, not like maybe, grow the company or expand into sweet and sour pork. This is a company that sells ginger beef to Chinese restaurants and has a restaurant because, why wouldn't you? And apparently a food truck if Facebook is your jam. Here's my thing is if you look at the level 2 trading on this company, there's someone who's ready to pay 33 cents for a handful of stock. There's someone ready to pay 22 cents for a handful of stock. And there's someone waiting to pay half a cent for as much stock as you want to give them. On the other side, there's someone prepared to pay 41 cents, to sell for 41 cents. If you spend 10 grand buying the stock that is available for sale right now, there would be no more stock for sale. It would be done. There's no more stock listed for sale. It would come up with just a question mark or an infinity or something. That said, this is not the dumbest idea for a company that's on the exchanges, because we've all seen AMC and GameStop. But I would, what I love about this company is if us girls here decided that we wanted to go on a bit of a Wall Street Bets run and just between us throw 5K each at ginger beef, we could run this thing to $3. And it wouldn't be the first time that someone had done it. We've all seen the New Jersey deli that went to $100 million market cap on the OTC because shits and giggles, right? And it's still there, even though it's been exposed that the place doesn't open and that it's just one dude in a random retail outlet that looks closed. It's a $100 million company because the exchange is ridiculous. Yeah. So I'm looking at ginger beef here. If TK tells me they actually make a profit, I think that it's our time. I think this is our moment to Wall Street Bets the shit out of GB.
You know what? I was waiting for that because I feel like this is either one of two things. It's either a scam and whatever they're reporting is completely false, or it might be the best business that I've ever looked at. Current market cap. So
I don't know what is happening.
So from 2016 until 2020, their revenue went up by 8%, which is not much, but it went from 5 million to about 8 million.
Wow. That's a lot for 11 Chinese restaurants in Calgary. That's a lot of chicken something done.
Takeout.
It really is. And in the last 12 months, it's been 9 million. But most of the customers 86% of the customers are, or 86% of the sales are
Are,
from
are
four
Chinese
customers.
are Chinese senior citizens?
Mainly, but majority of the sales to the wholesale side of the business is from 4 customers. 86% of their sales are from four customers, and obviously they make $750,000 in income, and they do have quite a lot of debt, but everything else is great. The one thing I did find though, there's a guy called Stanley Leung, Stanley Leung, who owns 8.2 million shares, so close to 61% ownership in this beautiful business.
It sounds like Stanley's the guy.
He's the CEO, yeah, CEO, president, and director.
If you go to Stanley's place, I guarantee you, he's all like, "Are you guys hungry?"
It's amazing, man. There's a precursor with this. There's no company right now in the S&P 500 that's bringing in a return on invested capital of 11% in the last 5 years. If these numbers are real, if this company is real, I really want to have a conversation with Stanley and be like, show me how you did it. 4 customers, 11% return on investment, 26% return for your shareholders. How are you doing it? How are you doing it?
This thing's up double in the last 12 months.
Yeah, that's
the markup on dinner. But
also, that could mean that 3 people have bought 1,000 shares each.
Right. But it's 4 people. It's 4. I'm assuming, since this is not all, there's 11 locations to eat at. But if they're selling wholesale stuff, it's for distribution in stores and everything else. There's 4 wholesalers, food wholesalers, essentially, buying all this stuff. Okay.
Is it possible that with all those locations that they own themselves, that they're looking to vertically integrate the ginger beef company? Is that what's happening here?
Don't know.
They're looking and they're saying, those 4 customers, they're making bank. We should be those customers. I want to know who those 4 customers are, because I want to invest in them too.
Find out. We can call Stanley.
I'm looking at the trends on their website. They have these this section here called Trends. Immigrants from Asia purchase more and more of their basic food supplies from mainstream supermarkets as they become more westernized, and are unable to find Western products. And I like this one right here. Where are the gyoza dumplings? That's a trend, apparently.
Are we having supply chain issues for gyoza dumplings?
But I mean, I think this is a comment on also, again, I don't know much about the business there, but as TK said, the numbers there. But Chris mentioned this hometown deli, and I think it's just one of those things where, hey, if the markets are this crazy, you can start trading publicly, raise a lot of cash while doing it. You might as well. I'm actually interested if there's any viewers here in Calgary. Let us know in the comments below if you've tried their food.
Is there there has to be a chart. I mean, there has to be a trend. There has to be a something. And how long? It's up. But I mean, when we look at the chart, how far back are we going?
So it says that they have been traded. They've been open since mid 1980s. Company listed on the TSX. We have price action going back to 2002, apparently.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, as Chris said, first of all, if you look at the chart, you guys can sort of see it's very choppy, a bit ugly, and that just indicates that there's not much volume being traded in the share. But there was a breakout. If we look at structure, there actually was a breakout above 20 cents here. There was a range between 20 cents and basically 2 cents. We were ranging since 2006, believe it or not. And this year we broke out of that range. So maybe it's agriculture is the place to be. I gotta maybe put these guys in my agriculture roundup now.
Chop suey.
I really do want to meet this Stanley guy, because he's either the greatest capital allocator that the Canadian markets have never seen, or it is the greatest scam that the Canadian markets has ever seen, because this is amazing. If you really look at the numbers and the story of the company and the numbers just make no sense.
If you go back 20 years, in 2004, there was a big jump. I'd be interested to go back through the news if Cedar wasn't built by 3-year-olds in 1995. to see what caused it to go from like 15 cents to 45 and then fall off again. But nothing's happened with this company for 20 years until mid 2020. And then all of a sudden what happens? COVID comes along. And what does that mean? We're all ordering Chinese food left and right. And this thing starts to pop. Now, it has popped more than it is right now. It had gone up almost to 55 cents before settling back down under 40. But, you know, if you were one of those 5 people that bought this stock over the last 20 years, you've had a really good 2020, 2021. The thing has doubled in the last 12 months. I think that's for a stock that nobody knows about. And in fact, I've used this stock as a punchline in stories relentlessly for the last 5 years. Whenever I need the name of a company that shouldn't really exist on the stock exchange, I pull this one up, and it's made a fool out of me. God damn it. So here's what I'm saying. This is our moment, Canada. This is our moment to Wall Street bets the shit out of this. I want everybody out there to buy $1,000 worth of ginger beef tomorrow. We're going to take this thing to the point where there's no stock left to buy. We're going to run it to the moon. Rocket emoji, rocket emoji, rocket emoji. This is our moment. Let's take ginger beef back from the food court and make it the next great Canadian online stock market success story. Who's with me? Ginger to the moon.
Before we answer, Chris, would you eat from ginger beef, one of their restaurants?
I absolutely hate ginger beef. It's the worst thing on the Chinese takeout menu. I'm not a ginger fan.
Oh, yeah.
But if these guys swing into the sweet and sour racket, then, you know, I think they're onto something.
By the way, TK, Stanley Leung is also their head chef. Sorry, not chief, head chef. Our head chef
is in there. He's in the kitchen. He's like, we're going to make this.
He started
something new. We're going to the NASDAQ. This is going to be great.
Started the business. CEO, chef, owner. He's the guy. But a great point on the COVID, because if this continues, you know, you're right. It's carry out, it's take out, it's pick up, and it's had a big year and a half, unfortunately for the wrong reasons, but that's the way it is.
I just wonder if there's scope for other individual foods to have their own company that only does that food. Mm-hmm. You know, like, where is the bubble tea stock?
Right.
Where is the KFC double down chicken sandwich stock? I want to know where, you know, the Nuba marinated cauliflower company comes in.
Well,
somewhere out there, there's an origin story for this thing that I think would be really interesting, and I'm going to spend the next week to try and dig it up.
A lot of those other ones are owned by the Pepsis of the worlds and the Nestles of the worlds and all that good stuff. But TK, are you going to throw in your grand?
Oh yeah, I'm pumping the hell out of
it. Michelle?
Yeah, well, I'll do the same just because Chris told us it. So
all right,
I want to
1,000 bones. When everybody's
putting 20 in.
20K?
Nah, there's not enough room. They've been running out of stock.
There's no
but
stock
I'll put 1,000
left.
Down. I think this is an interesting deal.
Okay. That's only if the shareholders will sell the shares to us.
Well, I think Stanley's the one that will be selling the shares to, by the looks of things. But I don't know if he checks his brokerage account very often. So who knows?
I don't think he realizes he has a brokerage account.
I'm putting in a stink bid at 1 cent for 1 million shares.
All right. Well, there it is. Please take our advice or don't take it. But you're responsible for doing your own research. And in this case, that involves eating some Chinese food and then deciding whether you want to invest, because we can't guarantee what we're talking about. Although it sounds like we're going to pump this puppy. So there you go. It's ginger beef, and it's Stanley, the CEO and chef.
We're the only ones in the world that are pumping this stock.
Yep.
And it's GB, like Great Britain, but it's GB, gingerbeef.V, as in the venture, TSX venture. And that's it. It's all about Calgary for these guys. We'll see you next time. For Vishal and Chris upstairs and TK downstairs, Rob here. See you next time on the Equity Guru Investor Roundtable. I'm still starving to death.
I'd be interested to